Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final session of the Post-GEF Youth Forum. My name is Sadrine Hussein, and I will be taking you through these next 2 hours where we'll be talking more in depth about accountability in terms of the 6 thematic areas. So to begin, if we could just informally connect with each other, and if you could unmute your mics or raise your hands, and I will call on you. But really speak to what's one new thing that is of interest to you lately. So what is one new and interesting thing you've been thinking about lately?
Well, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'm very excited for coming to the third day and the last day of this forum. And yesterday it was kind of so excited and very educated session yesterday. And I'm ready for today because I'm going to join the group of technology and innovation for gender equality. That's what I'm up for today. And I hope the group will be so excited like how gender-based violence group was yesterday. So nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Ismail, and welcome, and it's nice to meet you too. And I'm happy that you're looking forward to the breakout sessions today. Is there anybody else that would like to introduce themselves? Let us know where you're calling in from, and what is one new thing that is of interest for you today?
Hello.
Hello, Martha.
Thank you. My name is Martha Kombe, Program Officer, Straight Talk Foundation Kenya. I'm really much excited to be here. And thank you very much for making this space very public, because I knew of this forum from a social media platform. What has been interesting that I have been thinking about lately is more of how can we have so many opportunities of late. We've had so many opportunities from policymakers, from development of policies around reproductive health, and also review of policies. So I've been thinking, how can we leverage on these opportunities as at now? Because we might have only now to think of how we can now leverage and bring about equality strongly. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha, and welcome. Is there anybody else that would like to share?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, my name is Rugari Shalangumia. I am from Malawi, working with for equality. And I think the other question was around what have I been learning. I think what I've really been learning is just how much young people want to be a part of change. They really want to be included in these processes, and there's so much zeal and passion from them. And I think, especially with these commitments, it's a really good question and reflection to find out and ask ourselves how exactly or what exactly this will look like. And to also ask young people to share on how exactly they envision themselves being a part of this change. Because I think the key driving force in driving change.
Thank you, Larry, and welcome. So what we're going to do today is a continuation, but more in depth that we did yesterday. So we're going to talk a lot more about accountability in terms of the 6 thematic areas, and how we can really, and what is really needed, for youth-led accountability on these 6 thematic areas. So just like yesterday's, we're going to have breakout sessions so you can really connect and talk in an informal space with other young people that are here on the call. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, you will see a breakout rooms icon. And what you do is if you click that breakout room icon, you will see the list of the thematic areas. So they are gender-based violence, economic justice and rights, bodily autonomy and sexual and reproductive health, feminist action for climate change, technology and innovation for gender equality, and feminist movements and leadership. So when you see the names, the labels of the group, you'll see on the right side in blue, it says join. So if you want to join, for example, gender-based violence, just click on join and you will be put into that room. Please note that you're also able to move around the room during the breakout sessions. So if you'd like to, maybe 5 minutes into being in the room on economic justice and rights, you'd like to move and see what people are talking about in the feminist action for climate change, you're able to click again on breakout rooms and move to a new room. So this is a very informal space, and we're talking about, and we want to explore in more detail what is needed for youth-led accountability. So I'll put that in the chat. What is needed for youth-led accountability? So the breakout rooms are open right now. Please feel free to move to those rooms, and we will do this for about 30 minutes. Then we will come back and share what we've heard, what we've talked about in each of the rooms. And then we are very happy to have with us Mr. Silvano Bedi, who will be closing off the Post-GEF Youth Forum with a few remarks. Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you had fun in the rooms and you're able to share and connect. And I'm really looking forward to hearing everything and all the power and insight that you had around this question on what is needed for youth-led accountability moving forward for the next 5 years. So if you would like to share what you spoke about and what you explored in the breakout rooms, you can raise your hand or you can just unmute your mic and speak.
So we were in the economic justice and rights room, and we were just talking about how we can actually, how policies and structures can actually help implement the justice and equity that we're looking for in the economy, and that 5 years is quite enough time to turn things around for the change that we want as women and just basically everyone, and that men should also be involved, that men and women both should be involved in creating structures and policies that are, that are gender sensitive. So we were also talking about how if we want to get to this, we should get also men involved in in conversations like this and try to make them understand and educate them on how economies and even how the world can become a better place if we involve more women, as we reiterated on the fact that women they're more carers, and once we involve them in the economy, in the in decision making, there are more careful decisions that are involved as compared to before, and that we should have policies that are gender sensitive even at the workplace. We should have women be considered because they have more responsibilities. They have children. They have to breastfeed. So at least we should have structures that allow women to have facilities that support them at work and all, and just basically everyone around to be supportive of them, so that we can have a productive workplace. Then we were talking about entrepreneurship and the business world as a whole. This is something that we noticed as we did our IGD in South Africa on the 10th. We realized that women were not so acknowledged or educated about the business world. So I think talking about business and helping women understand how business should be run and how they can start their own businesses, it's really important, because right now the idea they have about working is working for someone, and that they're not capable of actually starting their own businesses. So I think initiatives and projects should be started that help women to get into the business world, even education, like just business studies and entrepreneurship, just small courses that's going to help them to build their own sustainable businesses would really, really, really help them. And just to address and talk about Like, for example, I did speak on the health sector, where we have at least 60% of women employed in the health sector, and yet we have at least 40% of women in the leadership or managerial positions. I don't think it actually makes sense that we have a lot of women that are working in the health sector as nurses and doctors, as healthcare workers, yet they don't have enough representation in the leadership positions, in the managerial positions. I really think that we should be ready to have this conversation and be more assertive when we decide or talk about them, and try to involve more women where they are supposed to be, because it's only fair that if we do have 60% of men working in there, then we should also have just the equal representation in leadership positions. So this topic is really broad, but yet it's doable. It's something that we can actually do. And also to stop corporate greed, of course. If we have a nurse that has been working at a position for 7 years, and a woman that has been working there for 7 years, they should get equal pay. I don't understand the disparities that we are seeing in the workplace. It doesn't make a lot of sense at all. I also just read yesterday the FA Cup, that there was 1.5 million that was allocated for men and 250,000 that was allocated for women. It is insane. It is insane, the disparities and inequality and just the proportions that are going towards women. It's not fair. And I really think that these are the conversations we should have more often. And that's what we've been talking about in the economic justice breakout room. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pamela. Yes, indeed. These policies, they need to be very practical. And they need to influence, at all levels, different women across the board. So thank you very much, Pamela, for that insight and that feeding forward from breakout rooms. Is there anybody else that would like to share insights from the breakout rooms, or also from the last 3 days, for those who've been here for the last 3 days?
Okay, we've discussed on girls having access to education, because seeing that in the world, millions of girls in the world are not in school, which is very, very unfortunate. At least they should have access to education, and also women should be given power in order to achieve economic success. You see that globally, women have less political representation than men. At least women should be given at least not less than 40% of any representation for political seats. So when that is allocated, at least the issue of gender-based violence and gender inequality will be resolved and be achieved. So that's all I can say for now.
Thank you very much. So to round off the session, I'd like us to just explore and share. We've been here for 3 days and we've talked, we've connected, we've built, we've dreamt, and we're really trying to think around, how can we have youth-led accountability that's bottom up in terms of the Generation Equality Forum process. So I'd like us to end the forum today, maybe speaking to this question, and sharing what's one hope you are taking away from this conversation, either today or if you've been part of the conversations for the last 3 days. What is the one hope that you're taking away from?
I think that having our political leaders being able to stand and actually make these commitments actually give us hope. It is really the worst thing to round up people and make promises and get it streamed and get everyone to hear it, and yet not being able to do anything. So I really think that they are stepping up, and it really does give us a bit of hope. And also having Nalafem to have this initiative and the platform for us to talk about it and to create really a safe place to have dialogues like this, it really gives us hope for the future. And the 5-year plan, you guys championing the 5-year plan and also making sure that the initiative is successful, it is really, really a hopeful situation, and it really gives us hope. And it's a takeaway for me, and it's really something that we are really appreciative of, and it really gives us hope as young people, and having intergenerational dialogues, getting older people involved, and it doesn't give us that thing that would say, oh, we're in this alone. These intergenerational dialogues make us just think and know that we're not in this alone. And that's I think that's my takeaway for the past 3 days.
Thank you so much, Pamela, for sharing that. Is there anybody else that would like to share one hope that they're taking away from either from today's conversation or from the last 3 days? Ismail?
Well, it was so excited, and actually I just want to say that I'm very excited with the Nalafem action, which is to mobilize diverse stakeholders and youth-led groups to accelerate the progress of gender equality, which is a great movement, and I wish many dialogues should be held to address the issue of gender equality. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ismail. Is there anybody else that would like to share? If not, I'd like to hand over to Mariam, who, if you've been part of the forum for the last 2 days, Mariam is joining us to show a graphic harvest. So she's been listening and internalizing everything that's been discussed and explored and dreamt about and designed in these last 3 days. Mariam, you can share your screen and share the harvest.
So thanks a lot again for everything you have been sharing. I have been listening very tightly. Okay. So, as I said, I've been listening to joining the groups. Unfortunately, sometimes when I reach a group up, it was already, the conversation is over. And some groups have sometimes only one participant, and then something wasn't discussed. Anyway, most of the things that I have been able to record was the groups about the gender-based violence, where there has been a lot of talking about the access to education and financial independence and contribution that contributes to reduce gender-based violence, and the importance of these two elements to reduce the violence and to make women more powerful. Then also one of the participants was speaking about the advocacy tools and how some youth in their countries were using radio and local media to spread the word about the danger of gender-based violence, the reasons, and how we can stop this bad phenomena. And then there was a bit of also bridging to the economic justice and speaking about the economical prosperity and how when it addresses women, this could benefit the whole community. And I like the proverb that had been said, like when you give economic prosperity for a man, he does well for himself, but when you do it for a woman, she does it for the whole community or village. I know it's not literally, but maybe the person who said it can write it down, because I would really love to record it as it has been said. I think it was Pamela maybe, or I don't know, but please, the person who said the proverb, to write it down. And then the next group, feminist movement and leadership, there was a lot of talking about how to involve women more in politics and to decision-making positions, and to involve women in politics with the quota, with the being more involved in the voting as voters and as candidates also. And there has been a discussion and the proposal about doing more trainings for women in feminist leadership, and also maybe to reflect more about creating non-mixed groups, because maybe that would provide a safe space for women to learn, to empower themselves, and maybe later to be more ready when it's in the non-mixed groups, to be more able to express herself after going through this phase of having her space to speak and to act and so on. And one of the things also, it was a foster civic space that allows for women to thrive politically. That was one of the suggestions also to achieve more feminist leadership. Then the group of economic justice and rights, it was about a reflection about how to involve policies that recognize women in their struggles in economical field, and how we should advocate for a better access for women in the entrepreneurial field. Something also that have been brought up yesterday and today again is the family work, and how the unpaid work in the family is work, because a lot of women dedicate their selves to their families. This doesn't pay money, but it's still work, and in some other countries it is a paid job. So at least if it's not paid, it should be recognized, and to see how can moms and pregnant women can have more access to the field without being segregated because of again the maternity leaves and taking care of the kids and so on. Then one of the things that you are taken away from this conversation, unfortunately, only some of you said things, while I put some space for everything you would say. So you still have the possibility, if you want to write on the chat while I'm speaking, that would be great. Then I can put them in the recording. So what has been said is politicians in our country support us and stand more in our side to achieve what we want to achieve on the level of gender equality and women empowerment and equality and equity. And then more support from grassroots organizations such as Nala is doing with this conference and with all the other efforts. And last but not least, the importance of intergenerational collaboration and cooperation. And as it was said, like to feel that we are not alone and we are supported by people who have been through this before us and who have more experience than us. And that would be really helpful. So as you see, the graphic recording is not done yet. I still have some notes that I will take them. I will put them later, so you can still check the drawings on the page of Nala, or later also the organizers will send you the drawings. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mariam, for that wonderful presentation and summary of today's conversation. I would like to now hand over to Mr. Sylvain Obedi, who is a member of the Generation Equality Youth Task Force, for his final remarks of the Post-Generation Equality Forum today.
Thank you for the speech, and good morning or good afternoon to everyone. I have to say that being honored to be here with you. And as you were working since now it's 3 days ago. I have to say that is not serious to ask for an account for something that you don't know. It's in this sense which I have to congratulate all of you who were working, who were involved during these 3 days of working and networking. This is a very crucial first step to popularize these commitments in a way that is easily understood by young people, as they will then serve as a reference points even for our advocacy. The Generational Equality Youth Task Force, which I belong to, I represent here, continue to do its best to represent youth. We need to make sure that the information reach the local level to ensure that everyone is informed before we start implementing these commitments. I would finally like to congratulate Nala and to encourage her in her effort to make government accountable by investing in youth engagement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us the last 3 days. Even though the forum is officially ending now, please feel free to comment and continue to connect on the NALA social media pages under any of the videos. So these are on Facebook or on Twitter. So we look forward to continue to hear your insights, your stories, what you're witnessing, and also your ideas on how we can have a youth-led accountability for the GEF process. So thank you very much. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you on NALA social media.